stage.
Hello everyone, this is Dairid, and I'm here with you today with my top 5 League of Legends tips. These are very general tips, just things that everyone can work on that I think helps you to be a better League player. My first one, and these are in no particular order, they're just all 5, I think they're all just about equal importance, or most of them are on the same level. My first one is wards. These are items you buy from the shop that give vision of an area, and by having everyone on the team buying wards and warding up the map, you give your team an extreme advantage on knowing where everyone is. If everyone's got wards up, you can see the jungler where they are, and you can know if you can push your lane, or you can know if he's about to come to your lane and kill you. So it's very handy having the whole map warded. The only person on your team that should get away with not buying any wards is the attack damage carry in the bottom lane, and the only reason they get away with it is because they have a support in their lane that should be buying wards for them. And the next point is last hitting. This is hitting minions. This is just killing minions, giving them the killing blow. It gives you the money, and it's a huge source of income, and being better at it than your lane mate will make you win your lane, just by the fact that you'll have more money. Every time you come back to lane, you'll have more stuff than they do. Also, it's a good practice to not just be randomly attacking them. You really, for the most part, only want to be hitting them that very last part, unless you're trying to purposely push the lane. But even while you're pushing lane, you still want to be delivering that last hit. And I mean, sometimes that's the deciding factor in a lane, is that, one person's last hitting a lot better than the other, and so at the 10-minute mark, that other person has a whole bunch more items, and it's an extremely important thing. It's probably one of the more mechanical things you have to learn. Most of these are aren't really a skill to learn. Most of these are just, very general concepts, but this one's a skill that you can go in and practice and get good on. And the next point is map awareness. This is just keeping your eye on your mini-map, keeping your eye on the map, and just knowing where all your people are and what that necessarily means. And, like, for instance, you can catch the jungle, especially if you have wards and map awareness. These two go hand in hand. If you've got wards, you'll be aware of the map, and you'll be able to see enemies coming, maybe try to gank you, or you'll see that they're ganking bottom, and that'll give you the opportunity to push out your lane, knowing that they're not going to have a jungler come up. And the next one's probably the most, the least solid one, and I think it's patience. I see a lot of people, they're always trying to go all in. They're always trying to go for the kill, and don't get me wrong, killing your lane mate is very important, but I think it's also really good to push the lane mate out. Like, in certain situations, going 1-for-1, you killing them and then the tower killing you, or you both kind of kill each other, like, you sometimes think that's okay, but depending on where you are in the lane, that can actually be you can put yourself at a disadvantage. For instance, if they've already died a couple times and you're worth more gold than they are, then you've given them more gold than you took from them. And even if you're even, but you're near their tower, you might lose a lot of creep because the tower's going to clean up your lane, clean up the rest of your creeps that you were attacking. And so it depends a lot, and I think that, if you can make them leave the lane, that's nearly as good as than killing them. And I think sometimes just being patient, being like, okay, I pushed them out, I could go for it, but I probably don't have a 100% chance of killing them. I'll just go back and I'll just farm out this lane a lot better, and go back, buy an item, come back, and maybe kill them next time. Or heck, maybe never kill them, but just out farm them. Like, just being patient, I think, helps a lot in this game. And I notice a lot of new players, they always just want to go, and they end up dying to people. They end up losing to people that are more patient than them. And the last aspect is reading the lane. And this is, again, kind of an abstract concept, but reading the lane is kind of like, just looking at your lane mate, how they're acting, and predicting what that necessarily means. Part of this is like not falling for bait. Bait is where, someone's at low health, or they put themselves in a stupid area to get you to attack them when they've got their jungle right behind them, or they've got, there's 2 other people in the lane that you don't know of, and they're trying to take advantage of your greediness. And, being able to read the lane, and also part of that is knowing how to keep from being read. It's kind of almost like a poker game. If you've got a jungler that's about to gank them, you don't want to give it away. You don't want to be over aggressive. You also don't want to be over passive, like you're trying to get them to push out on you. You got to just kind of act cool, act normal, and because they might be reading the lane just as well as you are, and they might read that, like, oh, they probably got a jungler because of the way they're acting. And so, you know, just being aware of how you're acting in the lane, also how your lane mate's acting, can give you a good edge. Now, this doesn't always work in low play, because sometimes you play against people that do really stupid stuff, and you might think like, oh, they have a jungler, or they might not, and you know, you kind of just gotta, at the very beginning, gotta be cautious. But if you find out they're an idiot, you know, then that changes how you read the lane. You've got to kind of learn how they're playing, and you know, figure out if they all of a sudden start playing a lot differently than they are, something is probably up. At least that's my view on it. These are my top 5 tips. There are tons more, and I really just went over these very short and very sweet. There's a lot more vids on these, especially in the aspects of wards and last hitting. You can just YouTube those. There'll be there's entire videos about all the different places you can put your little wards. There's entire videos about all the different, you know, animations and stuff on last hitting. But the rest of the other 3 I mentioned, map awareness, patience, and reading the lane, those are unfortunately things you just kind of have to learn by playing a lot. But you know, just know that you've got to kind of train yourself to keep your eye on the map. You've got to train yourself to, you know, not always go for the kill, be patient, and you got to train yourself to kind of not fall for traps, not fall for the bait. On map awareness, one tip I do have on increasing your map awareness is maybe start playing with champions that have global ults, like Ezreal, Ashe, Gangplank, or Shin, all these characters that have global ults, because it forces you to be looking at all the other lanes at all the time to see an opportunity to get an assist or get a kill or help them kill. Those I've noticed when I first started playing, those helped me a lot on getting my map awareness better. It's still not perfect, but it's definitely a lot better than when I first started playing. That's it. And remember guys, rate, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you later.